Your value matters, and I'm going to explain that to you by using technology. You see, I had just purchased this Lenovo Tab M11 tablet for work purposes. It has been a superior long overdue for me to be able to upgrade to a tablet because I've been using paper for the last 4 years for my professional duties. And paper, as it accumulates over time, it becomes a nuisance to navigate. Now, I personally do not have a problem with traversing through paper, but it is just one of these small nuances that becomes small nuisances. And these accumulate over time, a bit like a volcano effect, pressurizing, and then eventually it kind of explodes. Where it's getting to the point where, like, I'm asking myself, how come I don't have a tablet? The other people in my industry have recommended me to purchase a tablet in the past. They're not really that expensive, so why don't I have a tablet? Why am I not using Adobe Acrobat to fill out my forms? And so I've been looking into this, and this is what I'm doing. Now, you might wonder, how does this have anything to do with your value, particularly in terms of your relationship or your potential sexual marketplace value? So what I'm going to tell you is that if you are a woman and you are going around sleeping with a bunch of men, or you are a person who has significant anger issues, or you are narcissistic in your tendencies and you outright threaten people with violence, or you do some really shady stuff that affects other people, and it's really all about your self-gain, no thought for the other person, you just no care in the world for other people, just all about the self. These things matter. Your reputation matters. I'm going to focus more specifically on younger women sleeping with multiple men. Personally, it doesn't sit well with me, but there's a psychological factor to consider here if you were someone who wanted to go doing that. Just like this tablet that I had just bought, right? The reason I bought this tablet specifically as opposed to other tablets, there are a couple of reasons, right? And it's very important I tell you these reasons before I tell you the psychological reasons of the sleeping with other people, right? The reason I bought the Lenovo tablet over the cheaper tablets, I wanted to get a cheap tablet, right? I didn't want anything too fancy. I've already got like an iPhone 15 Pro Max, and I can do all my video editing on that. I can do lots of amazing things with that. I don't need a tablet to go doing fancy, super awesome stuff, right? I just need the tablet to function under pressure, under heat, literal heat. I need it to be fairly new. You know, the reason I need this tablet to come from a professional store instead of buying it secondhand is because I don't know where the tablet has been. Has the tablet been infiltrated? If I was to buy the tablet secondhand, has the tablet been influenced or damaged? Right? It is the same for your integrity and your reputation. If you are a woman, for example, sleeping with a bunch of men, right? It is the same thing. You might argue with me and say that you are not a product, but relationships are transactional. We are all transactional beings, essentially. An entire relationship is a deal in itself. And by default, the answer is going to be a no, unless you're somehow good at converting that into a yes. And this Lenovo, I know this sounded a lot better in my head when I was thinking about this, but it's just so important. We are like this brand new Lenovo tablet. A lot of us are like this. And I chose the Lenovo instead of secondhand or more expensive brands or cheaper brands. Definitely didn't want to get any cheaper brands because in my head, I was like, well, what if I have to waste time buying a new one again because it malfunctions? Even if it is a brand new one and it's cheap, like $100, $200 cheaper than this one. I've read the reviews for the Lenovo. A lot more people are buying it. A lot more people are satisfied with it as opposed to the cheaper versions. And it's just what I'm actually buying here is reassurance. I'm buying reassurance. I'm buying the integrity of the device. And that's what you want in your relationship when you are dating or you're already in a relationship. You want the other party to be reassured of your value. You want the other party to feel secure. They don't want to have regrets in the future. This is probably one of the bigger tipping points that could tip the scales. The withholding of information, such as, are you going to leave? Are you going to stay? Are you going to commit, etc.? When you go to a job, right, you enter into a new job, a new profession, and if you were to tell the people that you were working with that you intend to leave very shortly, it's not going to align with the plans of the industry that you're trying to involve yourself with. And because of that, they're likely going to reject you. In this way, it is exactly the same with romantic rejection. And this formula of you trying to enter into an industry is exactly the same if you're a woman sleeping with a bunch of men and a bunch of men reject you, because no man with dignity is going to want to sleep with a woman who's been really sleeping with a bunch of men, unless that woman provides much more significant value than that. Or if you are a man and you are looking for a female partner and you are constantly being rejected, is there something that you are doing that you are not providing? You are not providing enough value. You're not putting yourself in a position where your value can be recognized. I hope you learned something there. I do apologize if I came across as too kind of splurry out there, but the message is very important, particularly if you are wondering why the hell you've been rejected. And it's really all to do with your integrity, your reputation, and the process in how that is interpreted. And the easiest way to visualize how this actually looks like is by either applying for a job and then telling the job that you intend to leave within a few days, which doesn't align with the job. And it's no wonder that the part will not work. It's like a car that has a piston not working. Obviously the car ain't going nowhere. And it's the same thing if you're trying to buy a new electronic device, but you're worried about the integrity of the device when you're buying it. You can already have the foresight to see what could go wrong. You're looking into your investment, your time, your energy spent into just purchasing the device alone and hoping that it functions and will complete the task, right? And it's the same with your partner, but it's also yourself, right? So that's how your partner will perceive you. Hope you learned something there, because that's actually very important when it comes to rejection and entering into a relationship, making a deal, saying yes, converting a no into a yes.